Welcome to Coffee Time Again, a podcast dedicated to thoughtful, respectful dialogue on a wide range of topics. For over 6 years, we've created a space where ideas flow freely and stories come to life. With more than 100 episodes, we've grown from simple audio recordings into dynamic interview-style video conversations that connect people and perspectives. What began as a way to share blog posts has evolved into a passion for meaningful discussion. From research topics and preparing questions to hosting hour-long interviews, every episode is crafted with curiosity and care. Our mission is simple: to spark conversations that inform, challenge, and entertain. Whether you're here for insight, stories, or simply a good chat, you'll find it all at Coffee Time Again. As we move forward with a fresh professional rebrand, expect cleaner production, sharper content, and the same commitment to authentic dialogue. Grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and join the conversation, because here, conversations truly begin.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the United States of America. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing better than I am. I know you're doing better than Russia, so that's good enough for me. The rest of your world, you better get your act together. There's going to be some major problems if you don't do it. And it's up to you to do it, not us. So today we're talking with John again. John Bliss. That's his stage name.
That's my stage name.
Yeah. So he's going to be talking about reason and a lot of other topics. While we're here, we don't have a script. We're just going to wing it.
That's right. That's right.
That's some of the best. That winging is some of the best shows I've ever done. So let's get started. John, tell us about yourself.
Okay. So, well, I don't know. Yes, you can see that. Look at that. So, I wrote a book. Look at that. It's 440 or so pages. And I know it's got a long title. If you ever want to look it up, just look up on Amazon, John Bliss Essays, and then you'll find it. Then you don't have to remember the long title.
Right.
I mean, I can't even remember the title, and I wrote it. But yeah, it's a book about basically a lot of what we believe, or actually, so if you're going to live a life, you have to, like, I guess, have some kind of goal, right? You have to have some kind of, as I see everything as a game, and to play a game, you want to win. And to win, you need to know what your goal is. And to have a goal, well, we weren't born with a goal. We kind of made it up. But where did that goal come from? Well, we all kind of conceived our own goals. And a lot of the goals that we've gotten, we've been kind of fed by society, I guess, and a lot of it we made up ourselves. But a lot of that was all based on some assumptions. And what this book does, at least the first half of it, is it really knocks a lot of those assumptions down, because we assume a lot of things that just are not true. And that's the first half of the book. The second half of the book is about another assumption you can make that actually would change your life and the world, talking about, getting the world back together. Yeah. Boy, if everyone could pick up this second assumption, or this last assumption that's in the second half of the book, that everything would work. But that aside, I'm not going to get into that today. Today, we're talking about reason. Everybody seems to think reason's so great. And it is good, but there's some problems with it. I'm an engineer, and if you talk to other engineers, I know we're an odd group. I remember when I was a kid reading Dear Abby, all the women were always complaining about their engineer boyfriends because they were so unemotional. And yeah, I guess we're a problem for women, because we're the most unlike women than any group probably out there. And one of the problems with the ways engineers think is we really believe in efficiency and reason. And I had some argument, not an argument, I don't argue, I guess, not on social media, but I was kind of pointing out to someone, look, efficiency is not the be all end all. Efficiency, that's what Hitler was all about. Efficiency, right? Let's do everything efficient. And efficiency is based on reason. What's the best way to get done what we need to get done? But let's not go into Hitler now. That's kind of silly. So let's just go into reason itself. What I wanted to do was to read a few quotes, which I found really interesting in the research I was doing for this book. All right, I'll just start with one. This was written by Margaret Sanger. Let's see what year. It was written in 1930. Here it is. We are now in a state where our charities, our compensation acts, our pensions, hospitals, even our drainage and sanitary equipment all tend to keep alive the sickly and the weak, who are allowed to propagate and in turn produce a race of degenerates. That's Margaret Sanger. Here's another one. This one is by Edward East. I'm sorry, that first quote was 1917. The second one is 1930. Well-intentioned philanthropy and social service is nothing but a brutal gesture to posterity. Okay, they're both kind of saying the same thing. Let's read this one. Another Margaret Sanger. To meet this problem of, oh no, we're not going to read that part. Here's this part. We need not more of the fit, that means fit people, but fewer of the unfit, the propagation of the degenerate, the imbecile, the feeble-minded. That should be prevented. Here is another one. This is about eugenics. Eugenics is a practical, merciful, and inevitable solution of the whole problem, and can be applied to an ever-widening circle of social discards, beginning always with the criminal, the diseased, and the insane, and extending gradually to types which may be called weaklings rather than defectives, and perhaps ultimately to worthless race types. That last one was by, Madison Grant. He wrote a pretty famous book back in the day. What was it called? The Passing of the Great Race, or the Racial Basis of European History. This kind of thinking was really big in the early 1900s, up to about World War II. In fact, there was a lot of eugenics departments at universities. And in fact, even the head of the, what was it? The eugenics, is American Breeders Association. That was,
Wow.
They formed a subcommittee on eugenics in 1906. And one of the members was the president of Stanford at the time, David Starr Jordan. But other members included Alexander Graham Bell, who you've heard of, and Luther Burbank, who was he was a big into breeding plant species and stuff like that. Yeah. Other supporters of the movement included W.E.B. Du Bois, Theodore Roosevelt, H.G. Wells, Helen Keller, Winston Churchill, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jacques Cousteau, Herbert Hoover, John Maynard Keynes, and of course, Margaret Sanger, who founded Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Okay, so eugenics. It sounds like a really good idea. I mean, really think about it. So I think the idea was, this was at the time of the progressive movement in United States history. This was the time of Theodore Roosevelt, the president, Teddy Roosevelt, and Woodrow Wilson. This is before the war. And this is when I mean, yes, it was also after the war, they were still doing eugenics, but the progressive movement was big up to World War I. And the whole idea was, you know what, this isn't right, what's going on in society. We have these robber barons, these super wealthy people, and everybody else is poor. All these people that, they just want to unionize, and they're getting beat up or killed in their strikes and stuff like that. We need some kind of, reform. We need unions, and we also need some kind of reform in our prisons. We need reform for our institutions, for handicapped people and stuff like that. We need reforms in our food processing. And they were just, it was an incredible time of reforming American society. And one of the things they were really into was, well, let's reform the race as well. You know what? Let's just make everyone, or let's make future generations, let's say, more prosperous. Because every person who is not contributing to society is taking away from society. So if you have, let's say, drug addicts who are stealing a lot and stuff like that, and in and out of jail or things like that, are they contributing? I don't think they are, but I know they're taking a lot. They're taking a lot of money in prison. They're taking, we need more police, to protect us from them. It's just they're not contributing. And that was their thing is like, well, what if everyone was really good at what they did and really worked hard and everyone contributed? We would all be so much wealthier. Society would be so much better. Everybody would be happier. That was the idea. And so the solution was, it's totally reasonable. We will get rid of those people who, or at least their children, who are going to take away from that dream. And at the time, the thinking was, and maybe some people still think it, or maybe a lot of people still think it, that, criminal behavior, it goes and runs in families. And the sons of criminals will be criminals, and the grandsons of criminals will be criminals. And same with drug addicts, and same with alcoholics and imbeciles. I guess that's what they called them back then. And people with diseases, et cetera. So that was the solution. In the United States, they figure 64,000 people were forcibly sterilized in the 20th century. A third of the female population in Puerto Rico was sterilized between the 30s and the 70s. They sterilized Native American women. The Nazis sterilized lots of people. So that was what they were really into. So why do I bring that up? Right. Well, I think it's well, let me back up. I was telling you why it was a good argument. Let me explain another reason why it's a good argument. What do breeders of cows do, or breeders of pigeons, or breeders of dogs? They get the best samples they can, or the best, specimens, and they put them together, or racehorses especially. And then they end up with great animals, better animals. The next generation's better, and they keep breeding, trying to come up with something better. That works. It worked with plants. That's what Luther Burbank did. It made him famous. And they thought, why not do that with people? That totally makes sense. One other thing, though, was this is what Hitler did. Hitler was an active reader of Sanger's Birth Control Review. He read it, and it was foundational to the whole Nazi ideology. All right. So now the problem I see with this is that people are not objects. People are not just clay you can mold. You have some great ideal. We want to do this great thing in the world. Well, and there's some people in the way. Maybe they're, the homeless people sleeping in your park. We wanted to make a beautiful city. We want to make a beautiful space for mothers and their children to play. And we have all these homeless people and drug addicts there instead. They are not, these people are people. They're not objects. And you can't treat them like objects. That is the problem with this kind of thinking, with reason or rationality, pure rationality. It's got to be tempered with something more. I'll get to that in a minute. But before I say anything else, what do you think of all that?
I'll tell you the truth, I'm a bit confused.
Talk to me.
Well, I've read on some of Margaret Sanger's work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like her a whole lot.
No, nor do I. Nor do I.
She was get rid of the defectives, she called them.
Yes.
The imbeciles and the defectives.
That's right.
The gay, the homosexuals, blacks.
Yep.
Mexican, Hispanics.
That's right.
That was the whole idea behind Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And she almost, in a deep south, she almost accomplished it. Because they couldn't afford to have another baby, so they went and had an abortion.
Yeah.
And
but they're illegal. In California, what they're doing to Mexican women is when they're having babies, they would sterilize them without them knowing it.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, I know it's no good. I know.
I didn't know that. I was not aware of that. Or if I was, I'd forgotten it. That they force people into being sterilized, into doing different types of jobs, and to give up their lifestyle and give up their families and separate them from their families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess that's what you can call prison, right?
Yeah.
That's a form of sterilization. I didn't
Yeah.
really thought about that. Yeah,
So
I didn't think of that.
that to me is very cruel and unusual punishment.
Mm. Yeah.
Kind of like they're doing now at the on the border, separating the children from the mothers, the babies from their mother.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to do that. I don't think there's people that I don't think it's in anyone takes any particular joy out of doing something like that. I think
I
they're
don't
just
either.
yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing that happens when they're trying to enforce some policy. Yeah.
So if they'd have left the border alone before when uh, Obama was president, kept it the way it was, we wouldn't have the problem we have today.
Well, they were doing it then too, though. I mean, during the first Trump, remember during the first Trump presidency, they showed those children in cages.
Mm-hmm.
Those pictures were taken during Obama's presidency.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah. Yeah, whatever. That's politics. I've gotten really good at avoiding it. I stay out of it because it just makes me it clutters my mind and it makes me unhappy. So
Yeah.
I stopped. I don't do it anymore. I
I
read
do
old
very
things.
little politics in my podcast.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
It just no rhyme, no reason to it.
Well, what's interesting is like, if I go back every once in a while, so I pay myself $10 every day that I don't do politics, that I don't look online at any of the websites I used to look at or listen to podcasts. I pay myself. And so I got $1,700 saved up right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use it because I want to go play in the World Series of Poker. And so that's how I can justify, losing all that money.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I earned it.
Yeah.
But when I go back, every once in a while, I'll go back and look at the politics. And when I look at it, I just see the same old thing. It's like, you know what it is? Everybody's sparring over these little points. See, I gotcha. You're a hypocrite. See, I gotcha. You're no good. And it's just the same thing. It doesn't matter what the issue is. It just becomes it's silly. And you can get all hung up in it, and follow the whole current, but it's not going to get you anywhere. It's just the same old story. And eventually we're all going to die and it's not going to matter. It's just still this. Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
So we have to find a way to accomplish what he wanted and they wanted without a genocide.
Who's this? Who's he?
The regular people. I'm trying to think of the word. I have memory problems and I can't think of the word I wanted to use.
So,
you mean the normies?
Yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, let's go into something that's interesting. So I talked a little bit about eugenics, but here's something that's interesting. So, in the last, 20, no, not 20 years. Yeah, maybe the last 25 years to 30 years, we've all been, there's been a lot of the end of the world is coming, right? The end of the world's coming. Why? Well, it used to be pollution, and then it was CO2. The oceans are dying. All kinds of stuff, right? And granted, a lot of these things really are problems and need to be fixed. Some of them are being fixed. Some are not. Some are getting worse. All of that's true. Okay. But what does it come down to? Really, what does it all come down to? If you use reason, you could figure it out. It's like, well, there's too many people. If there was 1 billion people on the planet, we could pollute all we want and there wouldn't be a problem. But we have 8 billion. So we got to watch what we do. And that's what it comes down to. And so what a lot of thinkers, some people have realized that. I would think most people know it and don't know that they know it, but that's really the root issue. It's overpopulation, but no one really wants to go there. It's like, that whole story of overpopulation, you remember it started in the 1970s with Ehrlich, right? Paul
Yeah.
Ehrlich, he wrote the book, The Population Bomb.
Yeah.
Right. And he said, actually, I have that in here somewhere. Um, he said, let's see, I'm going to find this because this is worth looking at. He had, oh, let's see, that's a guy, yeah. Maybe maybe I won't find it. Well, anyway, he basically said that we're all by I think it was in the next 20 years we were all going to die because there wasn't enough food. There was too many people. There's going to be massive starvation.
Yes.
And yeah, and gosh, yeah, I'm not going to find it. I wonder where that is. Anyway, yeah, and it didn't happen. But he was suggesting maybe sterilization. Maybe we need to have a department like we have the Department of War now. We'll always have a Department of Population Decline or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then so that was early. He started all that stuff, and then they had Al Gore came out with what was it? I don't know. Gosh, I don't remember when that was. It's a while back, but he came out with his book, An Inconvenient Truth. And James Lovelock, he had a really interesting book called Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth. I really like the concept of Gaia, that the Earth is a living organism. He's probably right. I don't know, but I think it might be. And he felt also, there's just too many of us. Lovelock in 2006, he said, or he wrote, that before the century's over, billions of us will die. This is in 2006, yeah. So it still can happen. And the few breeding pairs of people that survive will be in the Arctic, where the climate remains tolerable. He also said in 2009, the cold during this century is going to be huge, up to 90%. The number of people remaining at the end of the century will probably be 1 billion or less. It has happened before. Between the ice ages, there were bottlenecks when there's only 2,000 people left. It's happening again. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't believe that anymore, but he did then. He later said, he said in some interview in 2009, he said, take this climate matter everybody's thinking about. They all talk, they pass laws, they do things as if they knew what was happening. I don't think anybody really knows what's happening. They just guess, and a whole group of them meet together and encourage each other's guesses. I think he's actually right there. But there was a lot of these people are talking about the end of the world, how that's going to happen, and it all comes down to population. And there was this really good book, or not good. I'm sorry, not a book. There was a really good TV show. If you watch TV, I recommend everyone watch it. I think it's on Amazon. It's called Utopia. And there's
on Amazon.
I think it's on Amazon. It's called you. You've seen Utopia?
I haven't seen the book. I've seen the book advertised. I haven't seen the.
Oh, not the book. No. It's a TV show.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I have not watched the show.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good. So there's two versions of it. There's the second version with John Cusack from the United States. I personally don't think it's as good. And I started it and I didn't finish it, but the first one was done in Britain. And it was amazing. And it was about basically what I'm talking about, where the people realized we have a problem and we're going to run out of all kinds of things. And so what's the answer? Well, we need to reduce the population. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we need to sterilize people. Well, how are we going to do that? We can't just, break into people's houses and inject everyone. That'll lead to violence, and that's not going to work. So what they did was they started a little pandemic. And then they gave everybody vaccines, which sterilized them. That's what they did. It's like, that's really funny because that kind of reminds me of something that just happened. So that show is called Utopia, and it is hilarious. Hilarious. It's really good, and the cinematography is beautiful. But it was, yeah, I strongly recommend anyone watch it. And the guys who did it name was Dennis Kelly. He was the writer behind it. And gosh dang it, I cannot find. I have quotes from him in here, and I just can't find them all of a sudden. But yeah, okay. So anyway, that is another case of reason thinking, when I'm saying reasoned thinking. Again, we come to sterilization. Well, what's the answer to all our problems? If there's a lot less of us, there's less civil wars, there's less, fighting over resources, there's less pollution, there's less everything, less crowding. I mean, how many problems would go away? And so it seems like a perfect answer. The problem, and when I say sterilization, I don't just mean just go after, certain races or certain, just the drug addicts or criminals. What they're saying is sterilize, well, everybody except us, whoever that is, whoever they are. But there's the problem with, well, before I say the problem with reason, I'll just read a quote from Martin Luther about reason, which is actually really cool. So Martin Luther was he was the one who I guess you can say led the Reformation in 1519. He's a German. He was a Catholic priest, and he wanted to argue about at the time they had a really big problem with that was the time they were funding the Vatican. They're creating the St. Paul's Cathedral, and the Vatican, the popes really needed money. So what they did was they sent all these guys out to collect what they called indulgences. An indulgence is basically a get out of purgatory free pass. Okay, so now I got to explain what purgatory is. So after you die, according to the Catholic tradition, no one's perfect. Everybody's done sins. And so they need to go to purgatory for a while and suffer really bad. It might be for hundreds of years. And you need to suffer and burn off all your sins. And once they're burned off, then you can go to heaven for an eternity. And unfortunately, that's, according to the doctrine, that's what everybody had to do. But if you can get yourself an indulgence, then you didn't have to go there and you can go straight to heaven. And people were initially, they were just buying indulgences for their relatives who died. But then after a while, you could actually buy them for, you could buy them for yourself. In fact, there's a really funny story. Let's see if I can find it here. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. So there's let's see. It is right. Well, I don't know if I'll find it, so I'm just going to have to just make it up. So at one point, oh, here it is. I found it. Look at that. So this is a quote from Luther. Again, Martin Luther. He said, I mean, it's translated into English. Of course, it was in German. So that the guy in Germany who was in charge of collecting all the indulgences, his name was Tetzel. I think it was Johann Tetzel. Let's see, what is his name? I don't remember. But Tetzel, yeah, here it is. It was, Johann Tetzel. So that's around 1465 to 1519. Anyway, so Luther, this is what Luther wrote. After Tetzel had collected a large sum of money in Leipzig, it's in Germany, it's a town, a certain nobleman came to him and asked whether he would be able to grant him an indulgence for the sin he was about to commit. Tetzel agreed, took the money, and gave him the indulgence. And as Tetzel left Leipzig, the nobleman attacked him on the way, smeared his skin thickly with blows, and then let him go back to Leipzig empty-handed. That means he stole his money. After he had reported how this was the sin he had intended to commit. So Tetzel, Tetzel said, you could do anything you want. You have an indulgence here. Give me the money, and you can do anything you want. You're going to be free. You can go straight to heaven. And so the guy later attacked Tetzel, took all the money back, and beat him up. And that was the sin that he got away with. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, so but with Luther, this is what he said was kind of cool. He said, where is it? There it is. I'm talking about reason. So this whole talk, everything I've said was really about, these are all reasoned arguments, which actually reason really well. They're very logical. Luther said, reason is the chief prostitute of the devil, a lousy, filthy, and disgusting prostitute that ought to be trampled on and destroyed. Both she and her companion wisdom. It would be a good thing to make her detestable by throwing filth in her face. For the abominable wretch that she is, she only deserves to be placed in the dirtiest place in the house, the privy. So he also wasn't a big fan of reason. So where am I going with this? It's the engineers, I think, they totally get it wrong. If you're really into efficiency, what do you do? If you're a business leader, well, you use AI as much as possible and fire all your engineers because you don't need them anymore. That is efficiency, right? Efficiency is heartless. The problem with efficiency, or let's say not just efficiency, with rational thinking, is that it can treat people like things. They are things. I have a goal. These people are in the way. There are things that need to be removed. And it forgets that they are human.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, so I think that, all of us are repulsed or all of us, I would think almost all of us are repulsed by the things that Hitler did to certain peoples of the Jews and the Roma, the handicapped, the Poles, etc. And the Slavs, totally repulsed by what he did. We just find, murdering other people is awful. It's terrible. But at the same time, what he did was totally rational based on his theories, based on his assumptions. It was a totally reasoned, rational approach. But it was wrong. So how does this not work? And the reason I think it doesn't work is that, well, we think it's part of the way we think, I guess, and a lot of it is unconscious. And in our unconscious, we have this respect for life, that is really what comes first. So there was a famous Nobel Prize winner from, I think it was the 50s and 60s. His name was Albert Schweitzer.
Yeah.
And his whole theology, I guess you could say, or life outlook is based on the simple tenet: life is sacred. That is how you should make your decisions. Life is sacred. That's where it comes. I mean, that's it. And I think that people actually do make a lot of decisions that way. They just don't know that they're making those decisions. That's why they don't run over rabbits when they, run in front of their trucks, right?
Yeah.
They try to get out of the way. It's like, I don't want to kill that, right? Why? Well, it's alive. Yeah, that's I guess that's kind of what I thought would be kind of interesting to talk about. I just found the eugenics thing really amazing, and the fact that it was so popular in the old days. I mean, what happened to it was when Hitler came around, he used eugenics in his plans, and people were so repulsed by what he did that it lost favor, and the university departments dropped it, and the eugenics movements, they changed their names, and now they've changed it. They're what they're suggesting, and now they just say things like, maybe we shouldn't sterilize, certain types of people, but we should look at babies, and if they're handicapped or something before they're born, maybe we should kill them first so they don't have to live a difficult life. And that's where it's come down to, and that's where they are right now.
Okay, that's news.
Yeah.
To me, that is news that they just changed their names, and I thought they'd totally just gone away.
No,
But
they
no,
changed
but they did. They
changed
just
their
changed their
names.
names, doing the same old thing.
Yes. Well, they tempered their ways a little bit. I mean, they certainly aren't writing like they did. I mean, they were out in the open saying, these people are anathema. They need to be eliminated from society, not just jailed, but we want to destroy them, and we want no more of their kind around.
No,
That's gone. And that was racial too. They just didn't talk race too much, but race was part of it.
of course, race was a part of that. Was one of my saying those big things was getting rid of the blacks, the Hispanics,
Yeah, I know.
Puerto Rican,
Yeah,
because
I
they
know.
were not white.
Yep.
That didn't look
No.
like me.
No, I remember in things have changed a lot in terms of race in this country. Remember in the 1970s, early 70s, when, you might see a mixed race couple once every 6 months or something, and everybody looked down on them. Everybody frowned upon them. Do you remember that? Or at least I do.
I do.
Yeah. It's like,
I was born and raised in a very small enclave of a town high in the mountains of Colorado that didn't get national news very often.
yeah. I was from Portland, but we'd see them once in a while, but the people weren't really well respected. They were kind
No.
of looked down on.
Yeah.
And
You ridiculed them.
yeah, I mean, we didn't do that so much, but really, I was a kid. I didn't know any better, right? And just, hear what's around me and stuff, but they weren't well respected, and
No.
bad things were thought about these folks, and yeah, that's changed quite a bit. It's
Well,
changed quite a bit.
one thing that hasn't changed a whole lot is Planned Parenthood.
Mm.
Because it's still, most of the Planned Parenthood are in low income,
Oh,
multicolored.
the abortions are low income.
Yeah.
I think that the percentage, the highest percentage, I don't know this, but I think the highest percentage of abortions are in the Black community too. I mean, not that, I mean, percentage, how do I say it? I didn't say it correctly. So there are a lot more white people than Black people. So I'm assuming there's a lot more white abortions than Black abortions. But if you look at how many births there are versus how many abortions there are in each different racial group, I'm sure it's much, much higher in the Black community than in the white
Yeah,
community.
it is. Because she's no longer alive, of course.
Yeah.
But her goal was to get rid of them.
Yeah, but just because someone's evil um, doesn't mean that everything they produce is evil, right?
No,
I mean,
I agree.
we've had, I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, I think, yeah, for example, under Hitler, the Germans got out of the Depression faster than anyone else. He
Yes,
did that. I think the Volkswagen became because of him. I think he was
it
somehow
did.
related to that. So, you know, just because Sanger started something maybe with intentions that we think are not so good, it doesn't mean that what she started is necessarily evil. Although now there's that argument, but then there's also the Christian argument that life is sacred and killing a baby is killing a sacred life.
Yes.
Now that's a different argument, and I'll buy that one, but that's a different story.
I the life, the women in their abortions today, they're saying my
Hmm.
body, my
Hmm.
choice. And I'm saying, no,
It's not your body.
it's not
That's
your
right.
body. It's
That's
not
right.
your choice. It's that unborn child's choice and body.
That's right. Well, it's not their choice, but it is their
No.
body. Yeah, I know.
So they still have faulty thinking.
Well, I mean, who says our thinking's right? I mean, most of our thinking's faulty too. That's the that's the whole point of this book. So, yes.
Yeah. And can you tell me the name of the book?
Oh yeah,
'Cause I have trouble reading it.
it's a long, convoluted, but fortunately I can read it. It's The False Paradigms of Today and the Timeless Truth of Tomorrow. But if you want to find it easily, it's on Amazon, and you can just type in John Bliss,
Mhm.
Bliss, and the word essays,
Okay.
and it'll show up. It's the first book that shows up. But yeah, it looks like that.
All right.
So there it is.
There it is. You got it that time.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go check. My eyesight is so bad that I can't read anymore.
It's
I can't
oh,
audio books.
it's on Audible. If you got Audible,
I do because I
oh, you
have to.
do.
Yeah,
Oh, it's on Audible.
if it's on Audible, I'll get it for
It's
sure.
good. Yeah, I've listened to it. It has an AI reader on it, and he's an Australian. I mean, he's a machine, but he sounds like an Australian. It sounds really
Yeah,
good. I've listened to quite a bit of it.
good.
Yeah. And the only thing I'll tell you a couple things I don't like about the Audible version is there's a lot of footnotes in this book, and a lot of them are like, little notes about something or other that
Yeah.
didn't fit really in the text, but I thought they were interesting. So I threw them in there.
Hmm.
And he doesn't read the footnotes. What he does is he'll read a chapter and then he starts reading all the footnotes one by one. So when he starts getting to the footnotes, you just got to skip ahead
Yeah.
to the next chapter because a lot of it just says something like, Johnson, Hogue, and Leudens. That's it. It's like what? That's I guess that's referring to some article that came before,
Yeah.
So
Okay. If it's
yeah,
on Audible, I'll get it
yeah.
probably tomorrow. Might even get to it tonight if I don't get
Oh,
by
cool.
the bicycle.
I think I really like it. Yeah, I know everybody says no, everybody doesn't say their book's the best in the world. Mine is certainly isn't the best in the world, but I really, really like it. I think it's
Yeah.
good. So,
I've got a couple of podcasts out that way. I've got one that should have gone viral, but hasn't.
hmm yeah, that's kind of
A
how it works.
lot of people watching it.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That is good.
Good for you. That's good, Dale.
And I'm trying to get my what it is, I'm trying to find my sons. We've been estranged since 2014.
Oh, that's a
Well,
long
it was
time.
before that. It was before that. It was 2013, 2012, somewhere along in there. I'm not sure the exact dates. And they disappeared. I want to find them because
This
I'm
is a
in
good,
hospice.
right? Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I ain't got a whole long time to go.
hmm
I want my boys around me when it happened. And I'm
Yeah,
trying to
that's
get a
right.
hold of them.
That's
So
right.
I also going through, my granddaughter's on Facebook a lot. I wrote her a private message to get a hold of her dad, have her dad contact me. It was important.
hmm
Not fun,
hmm
nothing, but it will happen. I have great faith that my boys will turn up, at least one of them.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
And, Alan, my oldest boy, is a carrot top. I mean, his hair is just like a carrot, just the exact color. So he's into that degenerates because he's not blonde. Got that blonde hair or black or gray or something.
I don't think people considered carrot tops degenerate needing to be sterilized. I don't know if anyone was thinking that. Maybe
I
the
don't think
Romans in
so,
the
but
old days, but
it's a lot more enlightened than it was in 1930.
oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, we are. A lot more pessimistic too,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Unfortunately.
So we spend a lot of time. They spend a lot of time looking for people who they consider to be degenerates. They spend a lot of money doing that.
Oh, in the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they really believed they were doing good. I mean, it's not
Right.
they were evil people. They really believed they were doing good and they were helping the race. And like I said, their argument is totally rational and it works. I mean, it's the problem with rationality. So my whole argument, what I basically said was, look, there's a better way. Life is sacred. That's really how you should view things. Don't just be all rational about stuff. But think about this. Suppose you put Jesus in you put 12 Jesuses in a lifeboat that could only handle 10 of them. There's 12 of them, and two of them have to get out or they're all going to die. What happens now? I asked a friend of mine who's a lot more philosophical than me, and he said, oh, the boat will sink. They wouldn't be able to they can't. It's like they can't say, you should go. I mean, because you could ask first question, well, what about you just got 10 people at random? Okay, so what are you going to do now? You're on this boat with 12 people or 11 other people. Two of them have to go overboard. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to say, well, let's get rid of the old people because they're going to die soon anyway. Or you can say, let's get rid of the people who don't have children because they have no one to take care of. If you get rid of someone like a father or a mother, then those children are going to die without a parent. That's not right. That's really hurting the next generation. Or you could say, let's get rid of the criminals because, they're not adding to society. They're a problem. Let's get rid of them. There's all kinds of arguments. You can say, well, get rid of this guy because he's of a different racial group than we are. He doesn't look like us.
Right.
I mean, there's always reasons why people might say get rid of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do come up with an argument between like John Stuart Mill. He believed in utilitarianism, and his whole thought was, look, you make decisions based on what is the best thing for the most people. That is what's best. If it means killing one guy, but everyone else is really happy as a result, then that's the right decision. And so in that case with the lifeboat, yeah, we pick two people and we decide who to kill and then they go drown and the rest of us are all great and everything's wonderful. That would be utilitarian. But what if you had John Stuart Mill and he's going to argue with Albert Schweitzer, who is saying, no, all life is sacred. You have to respect that first. Who's going to win that argument? Well, John Stuart Mill's going to win every time. every time because the mind is rational. and the rational part's making the argument. John Schweitzer can't make the argument because what he's trying to say is so real. It's real, but it's not rational, and our mind can't handle what he's saying. I don't know how to describe it, but
You're doing a good job of it, actually.
Well, I don't think I'm doing that well.
Yeah, I think explaining it that his thinking is rational, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like I was writing about this morning. I think I might write a preface for the book. So I'm putting out a new version because I found 13 pages that somehow mysteriously got deleted. So I'm putting them back in the book. And I thought maybe I should write a preface. So I wrote one this morning. I might go in. But what I wrote about was that, our minds are like, maybe they can handle 3 dimensions, but the world around us, it's 6 dimensions. Our mind isn't smart enough to be able to figure out the world. There's just too much there. And rationality is a tool that works in 3 dimensions, but the problem is the world isn't 3-dimensional. So, yes, we can survive, but we can't understand. The understanding requires the other dimensions, which we don't have, or we can't process with these limited minds. It's just the wrong tool for the job. And yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem. And so we have these minds which are really good at making trucks and spaceships and bombs and systems and governments. But, yeah, they're limited, and they cannot. Yeah, shoot, I forgot where I was going. Sorry.
That's all right. I do that all the time, John.
I forgot where I was going.
Anyway. Get the word halfway through the sentence.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what it was. We come up with these excuses. Now, let me look this up online real quick. But I think I had it right. So, just one second. Let me type this. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So we come up with these philosophical excuses. And one of them is, yeah, it's exactly what I thought. So something called Occam's razor. You might have heard of it. And it's this. I guess it's I don't know if it's a theory. It's not a theory. It's just something people refer to. And they say, look, if you have many explanations for some phenomenon in nature, just take the simplest one because that one is usually the most correct. Okay. What I think, maybe that's not correct, really. I mean, who am I to know? I'm just a person, right? But I think what it means is it's just a rationalization for the fact that our minds are so inept at understanding reality. And the simplest explanation is one that our minds can handle. So, yeah, of course we should take that because it's something we can get. But what's really going on? It's really complicated and it's beyond us. And so, yeah, I just feel like, we come up with these rationalizations to explain away the fact that we can never understand anything.
Yeah. So that makes it pretty difficult.
Yes. Yes.
And I think this whole topic is complicated. It's not simple.
Everything is complicated. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Just the other day. So I'm an engineer. I didn't say that in my book. I don't say that anywhere, but you heard it. So yeah, I'm an engineer. And I was talking to someone about pumps. And so we have these equations that, say, look, if you run a pump motor at 50% speed, it should only use about 15% of the energy to run the motor. That's just there's these laws called the fan laws. And based on that, that's kind of how it works. Well, yeah. But then at the same time, if you run it at 50% speed, the pump is not in its sweet spot, and all of a sudden it's less efficient. And so then all of a sudden that kind of contradicts what I just said. And it's like, wait a second. I thought it was really simple. We had this simple equation that said how much energy the pump was going to use, the pump motor. But no, you have this other thing where there's this pump curve and it goes in a different spot on the curve and it's not efficient anymore. And it's like, oh my God.
Now,
so you have this complexity over complexity over complexity, and nothing is simple. But our minds we want it. We need it to be simple.
Yes.
That's just how it is. And me more than most people. So, yeah, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it does. With your mind, the way it works, it's going to drive you nuts. Trying to figure this out. I know it would me. Trying to figure out how to put 100 podcasts on 5 sheets of paper.
Oh,
Really simple,
yeah,
like 5x4.
that's not so
5
easy now.
across, 4 down.
Yeah, that's not so
But it
easy.
doesn't work.
Yeah, right. Because there's all these different topics, and
Yeah.
I got that.
So we gotta find out a way to explain it in what I told my AI. I am doing this website in conjunction with help from an AI.
Mm-hmm.
And what I told her today is keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. And she gets
Yeah.
it all convoluted, convex. I mean, it's just, she's giving me like 5 lines of things to do what we want it to do. By the time she gets down to line 5, I have barely started line 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's complicated.
Yeah, but that's
Then I get confused.
well, you're not the only one. So yeah, don't feel like it's only you. It's not only you. We all waste so much time dealing with this complication.
Yeah.
We all do. Having to call people because your credit card's compromised, or you can't log in because the CAPTCHA, you can't get past the damn CAPTCHA message,
Yeah.
Pick all the bicycles. I picked them all. Oh, I got another one. Oh, I picked them all again. Oh, I got another one. It just goes on and on. It's just, oh, God, I hate that
I
stuff.
hate those things.
Yes, I do too. Yes.
But we're about out of time here. That hour went by in a big hurry. I don't know how it happened, but it did. I'm unfortunate it is. We're gonna have to have you back and do some more once you get some more clarity.
That'd just be fine. It's fine with me. That's good.
Well, I started something new. I'll tell you after we get offline.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and shut us down. And don't go away. Just hang tight.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Coffee Time Again. We hope today's conversation offered meaningful insights and inspiration for your day. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe and share your thoughts through a review. Your feedback helps us continually improve and deliver value. For more engagement, contact with us on social media or visit www.coffee-time-again.com to explore past episodes and share your perspectives. For direct inquiries, reach us at host@coffee-time-again.com. Until next time, we wish you thought-provoking discussions and an excellent day ahead. This is your host signing off. We look forward to welcoming you back on Coffee Time Again.